Hello Internet, Taliesin here, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Reset, Taliesin and Evitel's Wondrous Wisdomshow, bringing you all the latest WoW news and knowledge, even if you're just playing Diablo though. I know a lot of you are, that's okay. In fact, it seemed pretty likely that even the WoW devs were last week when the Sexy Lilith game went live and instantly all of WoW broke and went to absolute shit. Players logging in to find that the Revival Catalyst had apparently gone live a week early, except not really, because although the opening quests were there and the NPC was like, yeah, awesome, go ahead, use the Catalyst, nice one. You couldn't use the Catalyst because there was no charges and it was blatantly a harmless mistake. Unlike how players realized after reset that Mythic Plus keys now had no affixes on them at all. A massive dick up that lasted all of around 30 minutes until someone on Team 2 put down their hardcore sorcerer long enough to notice it and desperately disabled Mythic Plus completely until it was fixed. That's all good though, it's all better now and we can focus on bringing you all of the updates from the patch 10.1.5 PTR, including our first proper chance to test the new Time Rifts events and see how they work, and also some of the really very good rewards that you get from them. We also have new upgrade levels for gear, the Quantum Transmog mystery, the Secrets of Azeroth mystery, and more, because the new patch continues to take shape more and more every week. As you would expect, frankly, because it will be releasing soon. Don't forget that to fit all of the planned releases outlined in the 2023 Dragonflight roadmap into 2023, there needs to be a new patch on average every 8 weeks. Confirmed by Holly Longsdale in a recent interview where she said that is exactly the target the team have set for themselves. Which means, you know, some patches might take 6 or 10 weeks to come instead, however that works out, which means the absolute latest we should expect Fractures in Time is the 11th of July, which is only just around the corner, but also you can reasonably expect it to be at any point from the 13th of June, which is, as I record this, today. This being the week that the Catalyst actually goes live, like for reals though, as intended. There is nothing standing in 10.15's way, and I'd say it's probably more likely to be 2 weeks from now on the 27th, but either way, it is close. And that'll be nice, won't it? A whole new patch with all those new features, namely the Megadungeon, Dawn of the Infinite. And thank goodness, because Aberrus was a really spectacular raid, and I think it's very popular among the player base, but it was a bit easy, wasn't it? A combination of the new gear upgrade system and a focus on avoid the bad things on the ground rather than learn the incredibly intricate dance mechanics means that with the exception of the final boss, heroic difficulty felt more like what we would usually expect from normal difficulty, which is a bit disappointing for raid teams like ours, who tend to just aim for curve with no desire or opportunity to put together a steady 20-man team to progress into Mythic. And I'm not saying it's universally a bad thing. In fact, from what I see, overall the community has reacted really positively to the Aberrus difficulty. My point is, the raid is over, and for a lot of teams, a bit earlier than they might have been expecting. And new group content in the form of Dawn of the Infinite will be very welcome indeed. Having played it a few times now in testing, I can't really say if it's a good dungeon or not, gameplay-wise to be honest, because it was so undertuned on the PTR that you can just blow through every boss without really thinking about it. Even bosses that are clearly supposed to have quite challenging mechanics like Aridicon or Chrono Lord Deos. A bit like Aberrus really. But what I can comment on, and which I'm very happy to comment on, is the through-line narrative of the dungeon, which is probably the best of any instance that I can remember. Just as like a story event, Dawn of the Infinite is really good fun. Going back through the time ways, meeting Alexstrasza and the gang as proto-dragons in the moments just after they've defeated Galakrond twice. It's just dorky and delightful, and I'm pretty sure incomplete. Like, I think there are potentially cinematics, possibly cutscenes, but definitely dialogue lines that are missing from this PTR version of the dungeon, and I think that is very much intentional on Blizzard's part. The final battle of the instance against Deos definitely appears to show him trying to turn Proto-Drake Nozdormu into Murozond with his infinite dragon powers there and then, and even if he does fail, because yeah, obviously we kick his ass, in a dungeon which is packed packed with voice lines explaining what's going on, or expressing disbelief at what's happening, or setting the scene for various boss fights. It is incredibly noticeable that at the end of the dungeon, when this incredibly important, potentially extremely impactful to the timeline fight ends, no one says or does literally anything at all. I don't know, it just feels to me like there is something being kept from us here for some reason. Also though, it is the PTR, so it could be just they haven't finished it yet too. It could be that. There are currently 4 achievements in the dungeon, which are activated by clicking on an hourglass just before the boss fight starts, that then adds new mechanics to that boss, which is a very cool Ulduar style hard mode activation that is much appreciated. And of course, the dungeon is also where you get your infinite dragon customizations for your dragon riding mounts. New on the PTR in the last week though, some proper testing has now been possible on another of the new features of the patch, Time Rifts, which right now are events that pop every 45 minutes or so in the Tier Hold Reservoir part of the zone. Although I imagine they will likely be slightly less frequent than that on live. And you might remember these rifts as being connected to all of those alternate Azeroth maps that we data mined, like the Legion Azeroth and the Black Empire Azeroth, and those are all featured, all present and correct. But perhaps surprisingly, the majority of these events actually happens outside in the reservoir part of Thaldrakken as a big community event, kind of like a cross between the Researchers event in Zarolek and the Iskara Soup event, with players being given little mini quests to complete and fill an overall bar in an allotted timer for different levels of rewards, before the Rift Portal itself opens proper in the center of the zone and everyone heads through it to one of those alternate Azeroth maps, or to be honest, they're boss rooms rather than maps, to kill an elite, like Servant of the Burning Legion Illidan, or King Megadungeon on Robo Azeroth, or Freya in the Titan Utopia, or the Lich King, because there must always be the Lich King. And I think these are going to be really fun. The event is full of little mini games and Easter eggs depending on the theme. Alternate reality versions of famous characters pop up and are featured in lots of them, like young Jaina has been spotted, and we know there's loads of others, including a Forsaken Varisa Windrunner and a Robo-Varian Rin. So it's just playful and imaginative, and when there's like 50 people in the phase doing it and then descending on the big boss at the end, I think it'll be pretty wild. And of course, the reason you are doing them is to collect currency, which you then spend at the Time Rift vendors for cosmetic rewards like pets, recolors of some theme-appropriate transmogs and ensembles, the best of which are definitely the Legion weapons, because look, they're just brilliant. Obviously, yes to all of those, please. And 7 overall mounts, including a green Stormdrake variant and a Core Hound and a recolor of the Mecha Scorpion from Siege of Orgrimmar. Oh, and also the whole zone has that cool Dawn of the Infinite Skybox over it throughout the event, which is just really cool. Obviously, the new patch also brings the new 3rd Evoker spec. Yeah, that's coming. It's supposed to. It's slated for 10.15, and yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be great and definitely finished. Anyway, no real news on that one this week. We do have updates on those returning player improvements mentioned in the roadmap, though. There's the previously reported things like allied races now unlocking completely for everyone with a level 40 character. No rep or campaign quest needed. You can just jump straight to each unlock quest at your faction's embassy. There's the leveling improvements, like automatically learning new ranks of riding skill as you progress, and getting a free flying mount at level 30, but this week also saw added the Welcome Back pack for neglected toons. Now this is for any level 10 to 60 character that hasn't logged into the game for the last 60 days. And when they do, they are given the option to receive a bag of relevant, level appropriate gear for the spec of their choice. And if you take that deal, then it works like a bit of a refresh for the character, transporting them back to Stormwind or Orgrimmar with their new gear, and actually this is the real best thing about the entire feature, clearing out their bags of everything except your Hearthstone and a footlocker containing all of your old gear, and a complete quest log cleanup too, which, like, yes, genuinely, this is awesome, and it is opt-in too. So if you really want to, like if you're weird like that, you can still log into your old characters exactly where and how you left them, if you choose, if that's your thing. Very user-friendly. I am a huge fan of this. Other new updates this week include a new 3 levels added to upgradable upgradable Season 2 gear. Whereas before the maximum upgrade was 441 for hero gear, now there is the myth level with 3 more upgrades that go all the way to 447, and which only drops in Mythic Raid or the Great Vault equivalent. And in fact, I think this is probably to nudge players into Mythic Raid for the first time a bit more. The first 5 bosses of Aberrus are essentially pointless on Mythic level now, seeing as you can upgrade any gear you get on those bosses in Heroic to Mythic level with not much effort at all. And having Mythic Kazara, Amalgamation, Assault, Experiments, and Rashok drops now being upgradable to the same level as the later bosses of the raid is definitely going to help with that. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Tally, I've seen this show before. I know that you're going to pause now for a bit of effect and then be all like, no, it was a shit show, obviously. But no, everyone is genuinely happy about this. Dub, hope it's retroactive. So is it safe to say that this will work with items obtained before 10.1.5? Surely this will work retroactively on mythic gear already obtained, right? Right? And I know what you're thinking, because it is the exact same thing that I am. There is absolutely no way this is going to be retroactive. It's obviously only going to apply to mythic gear looted after the patch goes live. Like always, that means we are putting a pin in this currently not a shit show and just putting it in a barrel to ferment over the coming weeks to a beautiful, vintage, full-bodied and robust shit show on launch week, as players realise half their mythic gear is now not the best gear they could possibly get in the game, and they need to refarm it all again so that they can upgrade it by 6 whole item levels. I'm getting rage, yes, sheer rage, with undercurrents of sweat and blood and shit divine. But here's the surprise, internet, because I am here to tell you that no, actually on the PTR, this currently is retroactive. Mythic gear that I got in patch 10.1 is now upgradable to the new level, and if that stays the same, then yay, obviously. But also, Blizz, you're making it really difficult to find good shit shows these days, man. Man, come on, it's like kind of on the hallmarks of the show. Can't you just like delete Night Elves or something? Just for a bit, just for like a week, just so we can have a good section again. Thanks. We do have some more mysterious updates to report on this week though too, like the new Quantum Transmog items. These are slot-specific cosmetic tokens in the 10.1.5 data, which add an appropriate appearance of this type to your collection from the past. Sounds a bit like a kind of old transmog lottery kind of thing, like a randomized old transmog appearance. The language, as it's written in the tooltip, suggests that it will be class agnostic, like I would be able to receive and save, say, a plate piece, even if I opened it on my priest. I have questions. Obviously, how do we get these? That's a very good question, probably the most important one. But also, what transmogs will be included? Presumably all from old expansions, so actually maybe the question should be, what transmogs won't be included? Old Gladiator and Challenge mode sets, presumably, but maybe not. And what about standard but super rare drops? What about Corrupted Ashbringer or Atiesh? Or look, basically what I'm asking is, will Tusks of Manoroth be one of the appearances that I can get from these weird quantum tokens? Because I have over 1,000 Garrosh kills and no Tusks, and I deserve the Tusks, Blizz. I'm a nice guy, okay? I'm a really nice guy. And yet another mystery, on the in-game calendar on the PTR is a new event on August the 14th. Secrets of Azeroth. The lands are crawling with secrets, rarities hidden, treasures stolen, clues discovered. Who is behind it all? Seek the preservationists and help them find out. And there are rewards attached to Secrets of Azeroth too, like Patty the Alpaca mount for completing the Who Done It achievement, the Inquisitive title, and Tobias the Bloodhound from finding buried satchels using clues from the community, which I guess makes it sound like a kind of a mystery clue-based archaeology kind of thing, I suppose. Wowhead reckoned that the recently data mined adventurers' hats could be connected too, since they look a bit like Harrison Jones's hat. And there are two things we really know about Harrison Jones. One, he is the least funny pop culture NPC ever added to the game. And I'm not joking, okay? No, I have had STIs more funny than Harrison Jones. But also because I guess Harrison Jones is all about finding secrets from the past. And hey, I buy that. I am totally into that. Load me up. And just like everything else we cover on this episode, there is a link to a Wowhead article covering that and giving you a closer look at the hats and everything else in the description below. Hello, Evitel.
Hi.
Welcome to the sofa.
Oh.
Welcome from the sofa that I just found you on downstairs.
Yes, I was on a sofa already. The sofa, the nice sofa.
I felt so bad because I went down and you were playing Diablo.
I was.
For the first time, in fairness.
Yeah, well, I had to update the graphics driver.
Yeah. On the laptop.
Because I haven't done it in ages.
Look, and you know what? That's my fault, right? Because I haven't set up your PC here yet. It will be ready in time for Baldur's Gate 3, okay? I promise.
In August.
I swear. Yeah. Now look, this isn't a Diablo 4 channel or Diablo 4 show, and we're not going to talk about lots, but the people want to know, the people need to know, Evitel, about your Diablo 4 character. What is it? What are you doing?
She's cool. She's a necromancer. But I think she's going to be a bone spear necromancer.
Of course, a bone spear necromancer. As if you would choose anything except a bone spear.
Yeah. I was reading the guide for it, and I was like, oh, which one should I do? And it was like, they shall know the power of the bone. And I was like, yeah.
You're like, yo, don't try and teach me something I don't already know.
Yeah.
Like, you are kind of preaching to the choir
and
here.
And wield the power of the bone. And yeah, so I literally, and I spent ages on the character creation screen, and I was literally like just stepping in to Sanctuary when Tally was like, hey. This
is the sofa section, that's what it's all about. Yeah. It's kind of like turned into a catching up with Evie kind of section. So where are you at? How's things?
Okay, so I'm pretty much caught up. Okay, gear-wise, I am a little bit behind because I haven't been raiding or doing Mythic Plus.
You've been doing the odd like heroic raid, normal raid.
Yeah, I've been jumping into those. The thing is, by the time I jump on after like the kids are asleep, like they're done.
Yeah, like, they do. They zoom
like
through
an hour, like it's done. So I'm getting there. But story wise, actual like game wise, I'm all caught up.
Wow.
It feels good.
Awesome. So for something you have done, which I haven't yet, although I'm going to rectify that like in the next night or two, is the Blue Dragonflight quest line, right?
No
in 10.15.
You haven't
or 10.1, I should say. Yeah.
You have not done the Blue Dragonflight.
I haven't done it. Okay, look. So the reason I haven't done it, right, is because you know what? I've done all like the main campaign story, and obviously I've been raiding and doing all my Mythic Plus and getting my tier set and things like that, and it's been fun. I've really enjoyed it, and upgrading my gear and doing all that new patch stuff. But yeah, someone told me, so people on stream told me that it's really, really good. Can confirm.
It's so good.
Cool. More on that in just a sec. But also that it's really long.
Yeah, it took me like a full morning, like logging in and like hours. It took me hours to do it.
Yeah, because people are like, if you bop through it, it's like a solid 2 hours.
Yeah.
And obviously I don't bop through it on stream.
No,
if I tried to do it on stream, I suspect it would take me like 3 days or something. And I wouldn't, I wouldn't be getting the most out of it, and I wouldn't be getting a very good recording because it'd be like, days worth of footage. And okay, what I need to do is I need to get on there in the evening. I need to get a proper recording, like properly immerse myself, like really appreciate it. And then we'll have a proper chat about it then.
Exactly.
But can you give me some like I'm really intrigued because I basically know nothing about it, so give me some spoiler free like just little tickles, just little tease.
Okay, so without spoiling anything, so there's a bit with a map where you get to choose where you go, like how you continue the quest, basically.
What, like a choose your own adventure thing?
A little bit, yeah. And it's like, here's where are we going to go next? And one thing you should know, I was like, okay, I'm going to go here and I'm going to finish the quest line there. It's not how it works. You have to do the whole map.
Right. So
do not expect to be like, oh yeah, this is where I'm going to do the rest of the story.
So you
go bit by bit.
You were just choosing the order in which to do it, whereas you thought you were making a meaningful character choice.
Yes, exactly. No, you did. It is meaningful. Well, so I chose based on where I thought kind of like the best story bits would be, based on the characters that might be there, based on where it is on the map. And it surprised me actually, because the bits that I thought were going to be like, oh, there has to be something really, really important happening here, is not necessarily the case.
Right, okay.
But there are amazing, I loved that bit, and I thought it was so cool. And the culmination of the Blue Dragonflight storyline I thought was just like, so good.
Everyone says so. Like, it's very.
This isn't just me. This is, I feel like, the consensus. Generally, people are like, "That was good."
Yeah, saying it's really, really good. Okay, it's a kind of like an uncontroversial take in Dragonflight anyway, which is something I'm still really getting used to. This idea of like, and everyone says it's good, which is great. But like, everyone loves the Blue Dragonflight questline, right?
Yeah, they do, and rightfully so. Like, it's just really well done. Like, it's really thoughtful. There's great characters, great voice acting, great just like pace, even though it takes a long time. Like I loved doing it. I'm really excited for you to do it.
And is there just for the sake of story? Like, it's completely optional. It's not connected to any of the campaign at all. And it's just like, yo, you want some cool story? Boom, go do it.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. Like, I love that. The black Dragonflight stuff, fine. Blue, loved it. You know what I mean? Like, genuinely, I was like, okay, cool. All right, you guys, all right, fine, cool. Take me to the blue dudes. Like,
wow.
I loved it. And of course, because I'm a Drakthir, I take on like the flavor of whatever flight I'm, helping the most at the time. So of course, I'm now like blue, and all my transmog is blue. My mount is blue.
Wait, did you
like everything?
Did you go and change your scale color to blue like before you started the quest line?
No, it's always after. It's always after, because then I'm like, those are my people, And so like when you're doing the bronze Dragonflight stuff, everything is yellow. But of course, when that happens, your transmog has to change because you can see it. Your color, your mount, like the whole package. So it takes me ages. I'm very excited for you to play through it.
I am too.
I want to hear what you think.
Well, yeah, and my plan is to play it one of these nights, and then Wednesday, Thursday, one of those days we can record another multi-camera shoot, like we did a couple of weeks ago before we went on holiday, talking about specifically the blue Dragonflight and having a kind of an appreciation of that, I guess.
Let's do that.
I think that'd be kind of nice. Would people like that? Yeah.
I would like that. But I wanted to ask you, Tally, not doing the blue Dragonflight stuff, you're raiding. How has that been going?
Well, really good. Thank you. We got, as you know, Curve a couple of weeks ago. So we completed Sarkareth. He's down. He's gone.
Well done.
And we're just kind of wondering what to do next now. Got him on farm.
Okay, but what does that mean in terms of the race to World First?
For guilds to name a bit like Immortalis.
Yes, that one.
Okay, so, I'm glad you asked. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice that we haven't been doing the Race to World First for guilds with names a bit like Immortalis in the weekly reset recently. Now, one of the reasons for that is because this is the first weekly reset since before we went on holiday. We've been playing catch-up ever since we came back. We were away for a bit, and then everything was kind of like wild. But we are, we are now your number one source of WoW news. Get Mr. GM, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, no, it's all this now. By the time we got back, the Race to World First was over.
Yeah.
Because it's quite an easy raid on heroic difficulty.
It is, isn't it?
The first night we went into heroic, we cleared all the way to Sarkareth, which is wild. We don't usually do that.
Good.
And when we went into the raid for our first heroic night, we were informed reliably that the Race to World First had already finished. Because another guild already blown through it, obviously. And then we proceeded to do pretty much the same. And we were like, but I did. So we didn't. That's why we didn't do the section, because it felt a bit silly. But I can now reveal to the expectant crowd, because I know there are people who are really happy that we haven't been doing this section. There'll be people who are very sad and missed it and haven't been sleeping because they needed to know these results, and I can give them to you now. Okay, really interesting. So we came third. In the end, in the Race to World First.
You know what? That's not bad.
For guilds' names a bit like Immortalis. Yeah, third, same as last tier.
Yeah.
But the two guilds ahead of us, Norska and Sol Immortalis, killed it like a week before us, but also killed it on the same day as each other. Okay. So as WoW Progress has it, they both killed it 16 days ago. Norska Immortalis were the 2,535th guild in the world to kill it. And Sol Immortalis, an NA guild, they were only the 2,554th guild to kill it. So 19 places in the world rankings between them, which means there was probably minutes in between that kill, maximum an hour at that time, because everyone was kind of killing it at that point as well. So there was probably minutes in between those kills.
Wow.
So congratulations to Norska Immortalis, congratulations Sol Immortalis, both absolute legends. A week and a day later, we killed it. And it was all fine.
You did
it was all,
it. You did
yeah,
it.
exactly.
You got the curve. It's all good.
Est Immortalis were behind us. They killed it yesterday or over the weekend, according to WoW Progress.
Nice.
And those are the only 4 Immortalis guilds to have killed Heroic Sarkareth so far.
Really?
We're still waiting on Immortalis Tentoria. We're still waiting on Bit Like Immortalis from OC Represent. We're still waiting on Immortalis Horde from Thrall, and Nuggies Immortalis. They killed Rashok 27 days ago, and that's the end of them. I feel like they might be sitting this one out.
Yeah, they're like, we're done now. Because they saw that it was over.
F's in chat for Nuggies. I didn't ask you something I need to ask you, Evitel. Are you going to play Augmentation Evoker?
Oh, absolutely not. Like, no chance.
What, you mean?
Are you kidding me? A support class?
Moi? Wait. You mean I have to help other people?
Yeah, wait. No, is there an option to like pulverize and like crush my allies in order to buff myself?
No, you want to play Demonology Warlock.
Crushing my bone army to dust and just going hog.
I will let you get back on your bone spear.
Thanks.
To go real hog on it and get what you need from that. I will let you do that now. But thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't thank us, thank our patrons who give their actual real life money to make all of our work happen. And guys, seriously, thank you. Without you, there'd be a whole lot less Taliesin Evitel.
Oh yeah.
A whole lot, like 90% less, probably. Yeah. If you didn't like it though, downvote the shit out of it. Remember, my name is Mr. GM.
Oh.
It's alright, he'll never even hear it, he's too busy working. No, my name is Taliesin from me.
And me, Evitel.
Until next time, cheerio.